Hey, welcome to Sipper Social Club. I'm Jeremy. Today I have the newest Springbank local barley. It's a 10-year-old from 2019, bottled at 56.2% ABV. A whiskey like this, you really do need to take your time with it. I'll let you know my whole process of how I go about reviewing a whiskey. When I nose this, taste it, and give it a mark. Alright, this release of the local barley coming in at 9,000 bottles produced, 77% ex-bourbon cask, 20% sherry cask, and 3% port cask. Now that port cask influence, I think that's brand new to the Springbank local barley line, at least in recent years anyway, recent releases. They haven't used port in any of these bottlings. So a little touch to this one. Let's see how it is on the nose. You get a lot of Springbank character to this. You get that little bit of funkiness. You get those coastal notes. Lots of maltiness influence in this. It's almost like you get a little bit of that new make. So like a lot of the spirit being influenced in this one too. It's a very like spirit driven nose for sure. Some fruit popping up in here. You almost get a little bit of that like damp hay too, those like kind of farm kind of notes. Lots going on with this whiskey. This is why you need to take your time with this one. Lots of complexity coming out of this for sure. Love this nose. This is like characteristic Springbank. If you're a Springbank fan, awesome nose on this one for sure. Let's go palate. You're getting everything here. You're getting all that ex-bourbon influence, the honey, that sherry influence, those figs coming through, and that little bit of port, maybe like a little bit like raspberry in there. You just get this like maltiness kind of turns into like oatmeal kind of cookie note to me. Love that. Sometimes you pick up that note in Springbanks, kind of that maltiness, funkiness. It kind of turns into oatmeal almost. Love that note. Lots of awesome stuff. The finish, nice and long, drawn out. You get smoked kind of peatiness to it. That heather kind of peat as well is in there. Tobacco, spice. I mean, there's so much going on with this whiskey. Definitely needs to sit, open up, and then all those flavors are just coming at you one after one. I really do like this whiskey. Now, as far as other Springbank local barleys, I reviewed the 2018 9-year-old. I wasn't as big on it maybe as other people were. I still thought it was a really good whiskey. You can check out that review right here. But this one reminds me of like that old, almost like the 16-year-old. The 16-year-old for me, of the new bottlings. Keep in mind that Springbank local barley, they used to have some really old releases coming out by like 30 plus years old. I'll show a couple here. But they used to do a whole release of local barleys at really high age, and then they stopped doing it for a bit, came back out a couple years ago. They did a 16 and 11, a couple 10s. This is the second 10, I think, a 9. But of the new ones, I've tried the 16, the 11, of course last year's 9, and then this year's 10. But yeah, this reminds me of that really good 16-year-old. Lots of depth, complexity. You almost get like a youthful kind of spirity note to this, but it doesn't translate to like harshness in whatsoever. Very spirit driven for sure. Lots of complexity. Score wise, I'm gonna give this 90.5 out of 100. For value, I paid 210 Canadian dollars for this. On the grand scheme of things, I guess that's a pretty good deal considering what this is priced for in other markets. Definitely in the secondary market, you're looking for a lot more than that. Although there are some spots that had this a little bit cheaper when it first came out. 210 Canadian, justified in my opinion. You can leave the value at 0. I'd definitely pay that again for this, for sure. How I review whiskey. So my process to review whiskey may be a little bit different than other people's. I like to open up the bottle. The very first time I try it, I won't write anything down. Take the neck level down a bit. Let it open up. This one definitely needs it a lot. I'll go back to it maybe 4 to 5 times, and in those, I'll start jotting down notes. Maybe I'll get a couple notes on the nose, a couple notes on the finish, and then I'll go back to it the next day and write some more down. So my notes, all my tasting notes are an accumulation of tasting a whiskey 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many times that I'm analyzing it, picking up my tasting notes. So that's kind of my process. It's a long process. It's why I don't release videos too often, and it takes a while for me to get my opinion on something. And I want to do that because I want to get a confident score that I know that I've tried this one lots of times. Because we all have had those times where you're trying whiskey. One night you maybe think it's great. The next night you're like, I don't know, maybe this is the second time you try it, it's a little bit different the second time around. So I like to kind of get all that variance out of the way and try it multiple times, write down multiple notes, and then make a confidence score at the very end. If you follow me on Instagram, you kind of saw my kind of process. Like I posted an Instagram picture of my notes, write everything down. Sometimes I do it on a computer, sometimes I handwrite it. Kind of depends, but you take a look at that. If you're on Instagram, you're not following me, check out the description down below, link to my Instagram account, kind of post what I'm reviewing. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Springbank Local Barley, how does this one rank in the most recent ones? Have you had those old 30-plus-year-olds? I would love to get my hands on one. Of course, secondary on those, crazy money. But yeah, let me know what you think. As always, guys, really much appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. Cheers.